There we are. I forgot to share it. Oh, I can share it there. Getting the hang of this. I'm just sitting here on the edge of a cliff. Don't mind me. Just kidding. It's only swim over there. I can't. If I go like that, yeah, I could do that. Anyways, so spanking cheese nuggets. Oh, there we are. Yeah, this is why I need to get some kind of signal booster. Some of this stuff you kind of wonder where it comes from. That looks like the piece of an old dock. You know, a ladder on the side of an old dock. Let's go check out some driftwood. Oh, the other thing about the water boy was part of the whole plot or the subplot or whatever you call it, was that he didn't meet certain educational requirements or some shit. He didn't have a high school diploma or some crap like that. Well, imagine if you were somewhere else doing something else and it kept you so busy, and then they did these other things which prevented you from really getting some kind of formal education, diplomas and degrees and all that. And then he uses that as some other excuse for something else. But anyways. Oh, look at that. This is probably from one of the big storms that, yeah, telephone pole with a chain wrapped around it. That's interesting. Driftwood is cool. Sometimes you find some really cool shiznit. So, hold on a second. I need to tighten my belt. Going off-road. There. Might be tight enough. So, you know, it's kind of some of the quantum entanglement stuff I talk about. You know, and why I tell people to be careful when they're looking at it. Just sometimes it's easier to okay, back on. So what I was saying about the quantum markers and stuff is people can analyze and grasp things that are familiar a lot quicker than things that are unfamiliar. And doing that with what you recognize in yourself, in something else, a fictional story or whatever, just life in general, everyday stuff, can really answer a lot of questions and keep you on track if you're some kind of investigative reporter or some conspiracy theory or whatever, some expert researcher. Oh, you gotta love the expert researchers. it can really assist you in those areas. Intelligence gathering. Um, but the difficulty that some run into that they never hear, warning, warning, if you're going to do this, keep your ego in check and remind yourself it's not all about you. But then it gets tricky sometimes when parts of it do become about you. That's when it gets tricky. Yeah. It's kind of like being a reporter and trying not to become part of the story. But if you are part of the story and you're looking at it, you see, you look at the things you recognize and you work from there, right? Why try to figure something out that you don't know? Listen to the whole spiel or read the entire paper, synopsis, or whatever. Pinpoint the stuff that you do know and work from a solid foundation. Is that difficult to understand? Seriously. Instead, you end up with these brainiacs. They get into spirituality or whatever it is, or they're highly intelligent, but they never get their egos properly in check. Then they use some kind of esoteric whatever to justify their egos while they're telling everybody else to keep their egos in check, and they're going to teach you how to keep your ego in check. You know, blah, 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 ad infinitum, right? So then they start reading quantum markers, let's just say. They start fiddling around with things, rearranging other people's perception of reality, adding their personal narrative to other people's observations. And basically, some of them become cult leaders, you might say. But see, that's where the cosmic fail-safes come into play, I guess you could say. And yeah, sometimes that can get real nasty, I guess. So yeah, look at how dry this place is now. Kind of like a... I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, I get a kick out of Quinn Michaels, to be honest with some of you. He seems harmless and like he's just doing what he's doing because he believes in whatever he's doing concerning AI or whatever. And there might be some actual truth to what he's saying. Just it's real difficult to put into words. But yeah, brain knuckles. Yeah, I guess he and that guy DeFango and a few others are all like all in this drama fest together. So I realized that if I don't move around too fast, the signal stays. The signal's not very good out here. Like I said, I'm gonna have to find some kind of portable, rechargeable kind of signal booster on a budget. I just have to get my mind off of the survival mode and everything else and refocus. See, today I found out I get this call this morning and I'm supposed to be at court this morning. So I get a call at like 10 or 11 from my lawyer. I'm like, well, he said, don't worry about it. You didn't have to be there. You proof of your going to AA needed to be there. I go, oh, okay, well, I handed that in last week. I'm like, well, it didn't show up. I'm like, oh, well, I ran into that problem before. For some reason, my files just come up missing or important pieces that need to be in those files. You know, I think it's there. I hand it in to all the offices, and then I go about my life. And then out of nowhere, hey, Joel, there's a warrant. We need you to come back here. I'm like, well, I'm like 300 miles away right now. I'm doing what I do. Oh, good, we reconnected. So maybe, what was I saying? Oh, anyways, I had another thought. I gotta do the whole insurance on the phone that was stolen. So I figure maybe that phone will have better reception for the live kind of things. Who knows? But I do know I gotta get some kind of signal booster. I just don't know if I need to get a Wi-Fi booster or a cell booster, because I can do both through my cell service, because my cell service handles both Wi-Fi and cellular. So one of the reasons why I switched, other than the intermittent signal and everything else that goes on, it's not too bad. I mean, $45 a month unlimited. Oh, hey, thanks for chat. Yeah, all right, then I'll be looking for that. Yeah, so I could be a bit more portable, and then maybe we could, maybe that'll be part of what I do going forward, is little reviews of like camping spots and stuff like that, and whether or not you got service there, or you need a booster, or a booster won't even work. And because I'm doing it on a budget pretty much, well, there you go. So coupled with all the other things I yammer on about, but I figure if anybody's gonna listen to me yak away, they probably would enjoy some of the same places and things I enjoy. I mean, I enjoy rock concerts and shit like that, but I enjoy exploring a little bit more. I enjoy intelligent conversation, exploring the possibilities and probabilities of things, listening to other people's observations and opinions. It's just when somebody's opinion is found to be false, or their observation found to be a bit askew, and they refuse to adjust, that's when I start getting a little like, what's the point in holding this conversation, So get everything hooked up, working right, all except for the hot water heater so far, and the air conditioner. The air conditioner, he handed me the motor that needs to be replaced, so I guess all I need to do is replace the motor. And it is hot as fuck. But do I want to do that here without the right tools? The next step is hopefully this guy that wants to buy the truck doesn't back out, because good deal for him, and it simplifies a lot of things for me, even though if I waited and helped out and did a few things, I could charge another $1,000 for it. But the price he's getting it at, well, I put $1,000 in repairs and parts in it, actually over, more like $1,200, and it cost $2,000, so I've been doing it $3,200, taking a $700 loss. And And he's getting it knowing all the issues. Clean the injectors. If I don't get the paperwork back in the mail, I got all the stuff certified mailed. There's a incident case report. I went through all the proper channels, and apparently he knows how to handle it all and stuff like that, so it's not going to be too much of an issue for him. At least not as much as it would be for me, because the learning curve and all that, you know, I don't know everything. You know, I tend to take people on their word a little bit too much, but then I forget, well, most people do this chump change shit where you sit there and you realize it's going to take more time and more money to fuck around with something than to just fix it yourself, right? So sometimes I forget about the chump change bullshit. But, you know. So I'm being on the up and up, and, you know, sometimes it doesn't help me too much. But, you know, if I need to, I'll put an ad up or something on Facebook Marketplace, you know, 2,500 or give me an offer of cash and something in trade. You know, I don't know what would be, what they would have, anybody would have that I could use. You got a brand new toilet that I could put in my RV there, I'll knock $100 or $150 off the price, even though I could go pick one up for $100. Save me having to go pick one up. You got a cell phone booster, portable, rechargeable, that works very well. You know, I mean, I could work bartering with the trade, or with the, I'm wondering how to word that though. 2,500 cash as is, blah blah blah, or 2,500 in barter, right? Yeah, 2,500 cash slash or 2,500. I'll figure out how to word it. So yeah, it gets rough sometimes when you try to be on the level with everybody, and you know, you try to be square, not square way, but you know, like squared away in your business dealings and dealings with others. You know, because I think when you're dealing with people, you're dealing with money and finances and stuff, I look at it like you're also participating in their survival on some level. You know, if somebody gets burned by enough people in a short amount of time, it might cause them to starve, right? They might go without food. Now, most people would justify it and say, yeah, but I only burned them for 20 bucks. Yeah, well, 5 other people burned them for 20 bucks the day before. And then last week it was for 500 bucks. Then when you're dealing with a small community, and you notice that a lot of people involved in the burns have connections, then you're going into real criminal shit. You're going into, I forget exactly what it's called, but it's part of financial warfare. You know, like if one country puts an embargo or sanction or tariff or whatever on another country, they have to have a good reason, they have to state it. But if you do it sideways and you sabotage their industries and their businesses, you do that corporate sabotage and stuff like that. Well, that's part of why we have the CIA. We have the CIA to prevent other countries. See, that's part of the real job of the CIA. FYI. What? But it's, see, there's too many agencies doing too many different things that they didn't start off doing. You see, CIA was intelligent, but then it, a lot of it, job is to protect our corporate industries and shit like that from foreign governments. Just like we protect our citizens from other countries. Like, hey, you can't just kick our citizens around just because they're over in your country. They're abiding by all your laws. What the fuck are you doing? If they're fucking with one of our companies that's abiding by all the laws, just like all the other multinational fucking companies, shit like whatever, it starts being into an illegal area. When there's a conspiracy to financially harm somebody. Oh, we didn't rip them off. Hey, you just overcharged them. You gave that person a special markup just for them. It wasn't like, oh, it's an out-of-towner kind of thing. It was a special just to fuck with markup, right? Or let's see if we could push this person over the edge. Let's see if we could completely stress this individual out where they run into one of our primed little drones, primed to be triggered by certain things, certain personality types, or like, hey, doesn't that person look like they were born with a silver spoon? Look at him. He was probably one of them jocks that fucked with you in high school. Yeah, he is a rich kid, jock, bully, probably, yeah. And now he's trying to act like your friend. He's trying to act like he understands what you went through. Oh, that colostomy that you noticed? Yeah, he bit off a little bit more than he could chew. He was over there killing women and children. Or, no, that's a gun under his shirt. Just all sorts of real stupid little shit to trigger people that are very suggestible and a bit, more apt to believe in fictional reality than reality. Than reality. Sorry. Yeah, life's what you make of it until somebody sticks a gun to your fucking head, right? That's not a I'm just saying that's one of those things that I guess for some would cause a major reality check. Like, you realize the difference between what you make of things and what's in your face. I mean, you have some say over how you react, right? Which does have to do with your perception. Like, do you perceive that you're going to make it through it? Do you perceive that you're going to become a vegetable? You're going to survive? Or do you perceive that you're going to have your brain splattered all over the fucking place? Now, perception, a lot of times you can fend off would-be whatever by being positive. I ain't got to, especially if they're accusing you of something. You act like you didn't do shit wrong, right? What do you got to worry about? But then you gotta wonder, there might be somebody there looking for who's acting the coolest. Because even if somebody knows they're innocent and there's no way they could be blamed for something, they still might worry a little bit like, well, there are some fucked up people that don't check the facts. There's two other Joel Kimballs about my age. One's in Idaho or some shit. He's a convicted pedophile. The other one's up in Washington State. He's a Mormon. And then there's me. So now, I guess if somebody was going to do some kind of whatever, doxing or background stuff, well, with me, what are you going to find? Oh, he's a fucking drunk. He's a loser. He's an idiot. Look, he doesn't even have an education. Okay, right. Believe what you read, right? Don't take into account any of the other little files here and there that maybe are sealed. I don't know. But, you know, what would I rather be? A drunk loser or a Mormon fireman? Mormons are kind of weird. But for anybody to assume that I'm the one in Idaho or Ohio or whatever, well, we don't look alike, for two. For three, we're probably born in a different state. We live in a different state. I don't think I ever lived in Idaho or Ohio. I have lived up in Washington State, though. So, I know how things can be or get, and how people divert blame and fingers pointed, how they make sure the finger pointed at somebody else. And half the time they don't give a fuck. But what they do try to do is get the finger pointed at a nobody, or maybe somebody that's background is highly sensitive in certain ways, for whatever fucking reasons. You know, so they pick somebody like that, somebody that doesn't have much family or whatever. Oh my God, my therapist didn't know that I have a mother, several brothers and sisters. My therapist didn't know that I have nieces and nephews, aunts and uncles and cousins. My therapist didn't know that some of them live in Northern California, Southern California, Washington. They live actually all over the fucking country and in other countries. Might have even been a few politicians in some other countries or something. Some cousins, third or fourth, I don't fucking know. But so yeah, trip on that, motherfuckers. So when you think somebody's just completely alone and easily manipulated because of their background, because of their handicap, because of what you read in a file. So you target that person to turn them into a what? Did David House call me a proximity fuse? Oh, maybe he was telling a person proximity fuse or something because they were within my hearing range, because I was on the phone. Maybe he didn't know what my hearing range really was. Uh-oh. Yeah, he set it away from the phone, so probably was far enough away from the proximity fuse, my hearing range. So, you know what? All right, let's see if it reconnects. Are we here yet? Rack'em, shellack'em. What kind of chant? Come on, there's got to be some Native American song for cell reception. What's the Native American song for cell reception? We just had it. Yeah, they do. You see, it keeps saying it's reconnecting, but I just saw that side chat. Sign of the times. But you know, should be some way I can get a kit from the Red Cross. I hear they give out emergency responder kits. Of course, it might only be to some of the locals that they want working on that stuff. Might be a problem there, huh? A local kind of injection and preventing others that move here from being part of first responder, whatever. Why would they do that? Oh, because you can't have somebody that you don't like, that you can't trust as a hero, can you? You only can have those that you can control as heroes. Because, well, you got to give them credit, right? For your personal PR to garnish power. So you do all these witch hunts. So I think we're still playing. So the irony of this walk and quantum markers is, see, I can't drink, can I? See how ironic it can get? Gonna have to wait reception this afternoon, later on today. I don't know if you're hearing me or what, or seeing me, because it's saying reconnect and it's got the fuzzy screen in black and white. It usually means there's no connection at all. But just in case there